Alright, what's going on guys? It's Almond. Welcome back to another Wizard101 video. In today's video, I wanted to go over the dual school blades. I know some people are talking about it in the community, but I never gave you guys my opinion on the dual school blades. So I'll talk a little bit about that and how it'll affect Wizard101 down the line. And that's pretty much it. So if you do enjoy this type of content, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that type of stuff. And let's get into it. So if you go to Hofestis' test shop on Test Realm, you can actually go and visit the treasure card shop. And they added these 4 blades. They originally were 25% when they came out, but with the recent patch in Test Realm, they lowered it down to 20%. They also added Azoth into the Test Realm shop. I'm not too sure what for. I have no clue at the moment. But you can still buy these 4 blades. And there's these blades, and these blades are useful in certain scenarios, I would say, especially for dual schooling. That's why they're pushing these blades. That's the whole reason behind these. It's mainly for PvP players, but there are some scenarios where you can actually use this in PvE, which not many people have actually thought about. There's only a couple people I've seen use this strategy. For example, the new raid. If you're trying to go for a Scion, right? If you're trying to go for the PvP Scion in the new raid, or just in general in any type of challenge mode content, you're trying to set up a Scion, it's going to remove 4 blades off of you. Now, yes, you could use an LE blade. LE blade just gives you 3 blades. Of course, that can help fulfill that condition. But let's say you're not trying to waste pips, then you can just use these blades, because yes, they are 2 blades, but if you just want something to cover, it's useful for that. And if you don't care about just using the blades for its actual percentage, then just use them for covering. That's a really good thing. So for example, if I did one of these blades and I cover with an LE blade, it'll take the death blade, it'll take the life blade, from what people are telling me. So it's still a free buff. It's essentially just a balance blade. I think originally it was at 25%, so it was a little bit better, but I think they realized that they needed to tune it a little bit, and they turned it down to 20%. But we aren't even 100% sure that this is even going to make it into live realm, due to the fact that we had a test from a while back that introduced dual school pierce jewel sockets, and that never made its way to live realm. There's a lot of stuff that comes in test realm that does not make it to live realm, so I hope a lot of people do realize that when I do make these videos. For example, like Monk of Morning is not coming into live realm. Stuff like that is always subject to change. Once players test things out and they get feedback and stuff like that, it just sometimes either it will still make it into live realm, and sometimes it'll just get completely chalked or put to the side for another day till they rework it or something like that. Same thing as like the pierce jewels, for example, like back in like the past test room, I believe it was. So that can happen with these blades as well. And the thing is, how would they introduce these blades? Would they be actual trainable? Will they always just be TCs? Will there be a certain vendor that always gives them? There's a lot of options that that they could do with these TCs, right? It's just concerning to the player of where of getting these. They'll probably tell us down the line. We could probably just toss in the vendor, or maybe they might just be only dropped from raids, right? I don't think that will happen, but hey, we don't like it, the possibilities are endless, right, with these blades. But if the most sensible reason is to probably put it behind a vendor, probably like how they did with the Star, Moon, and those types of blades, where you can just purchase them. They'll probably do something similar to that, but you just have to wait and see if it actually makes its way into live realm. But when it comes to PvE, the only use case I have for these blades is just setting up that Scion for the PvP Scion, which is just only affect raids and hard tier content. Will I ever see someone use this in regular questing or just regular combat? Probably not, because you can just blade, feint, AoE. Why use these when you could just use like a regular blade, for example, right? Like these give 35%. Why would I use the other ones? People are gonna be like, well, you can dual school. Well, there hasn't been any fights that where you're like, okay, I need to dual school in regular questing or just regular scenarios. Yes, you could say, well, there's the Lore Magus boss, but you're not really dual schooling. You're just playing as another school in that fight, so you're not going to be using like your main school. So for example, if I'm a Storm and I have life stats, like I have really high life damage, everything like that, in the Lord Magus fight, I'm not going to be able to use that Stormblade. It's not benefiting me at all because it gives, they, in that fight, they specifically give you a minus 200% accuracy aura, and you can't get rid of it or anything like that, and it's stuck on your player. You wouldn't even be able to use this. You wouldn't be able to benefit from playing as a Storm. So these blades would not be as helpful. So there's only a handful of scenarios, but I feel like this is mainly introduced for PvP. You can just tell by looking at them, and I've seen a couple of videos from other creators that them using these in some PvP scenarios, and I've seen some people in the arena just queue and test realm. There's not that many people that have been queuing in test realm, because usually if a streamer's not streaming them in queue, not many people are in queue, unless like you get your buddies together and like, hey, I want to test some stuff, and yeah, of course they'll do it. But haven't seen too many people use these. But really the main scenario is just PvP. Other than that, I have no issues regarding those cards. Will I ever be using them? Time will tell. Like, I've only been playing on balance, so I don't have a real reason for this, right? I don't have a real reason to use these, because why would they want to introduce one that has a universal balance blade and then add like whatever school, right? Because that's 2 free buffs technically, and just I don't see a world where that happens unless it's like a balance specific blade. But there's only like, I don't even think there's probably like a handful of spells that actually like do specifically to balance, right? Not just universal. And I know some players are gonna say, are these the only 4 spells? I'm pretty sure these are the only 4 trial spells that they added to test realm that they wanted to see people dual school with. I'm assuming there'll be more. It's not just gonna be only these 4, and then all the other schools are not going to have options to dual school. Like, we'll probably get, like, for example, like a Fire Myth one and all the other ones just down the line, or if they just straight up just introduce them along with these. But I can see why they added like these main 4. I know the other schools are kind of getting left out, but give it time. They'll probably release the other ones. If they do actually release these, they'll release the other ones as well for all the other options, kind of how they did with the gear setup with the Aeon gear and the Nullity and Void gear, where you can change like your ring and a theme to other dual schools. It'll probably be the same scenario with the treasure cards. You'll probably have options for certain dual schools instead of just being capped out into the main dual school. So for example, Storm and Life, it's not just going to be only Storm and Life, because as you guys saw in the test shop, there was another option. There's Storm and Death. So it's not going to just be limited to only one school and that's it. They're going to give you guys more options, and players will enjoy that. So that is it for my opinions on the dual school blades. I really don't think it's a huge thing in PvE. Yes, it's good for just having a 0 pip. It's essentially like a 0 pip LE blade for setting up a Scion for either raids or challenge mode. But personally, that's the only use case I have for it. There's not any other scenario I can think of like on top of my head at the moment while recording this video. I'm probably missing a couple fights that I can see it be useful, but at the moment the only use case I have is just the setting up the Scion in PvE. PvP, there's a lot of scenarios. Like today I did a balance match in live realm and I fought against a person who was dual schooling Mythid Fire. So for them, that is something that is beneficial, because you're getting 2 buffs for, well, it's 2 buffs, but at the same time it's actually 1 buff per school. So it is 0 pip, so there is some sort of benefit for that. So that would have benefited that player that I fought today. So we'll just have to wait and see, and time will tell. So whenever this, if it does make it into live realm, I'll definitely cover it and cover all the other blades as well. But it's mainly for PvP players the more I see it. But that is going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed. You should leave a like, subscribe, all that type of stuff, and more videos coming soon. Be on the lookout for them. See you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.